Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hina Ijaz. Welcome to Pakistan. Today on Welcome to Pakistan, my very special guest is Adam Mulawarman. He is the ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Pakistan. He's been in Pakistan since December 2020. And on the other side, I have with me Mian Zahid Jawaid Ahmad Sahab. He is the former Vice President for the Lahore Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He has a vast experience in industrial manufacturing, and let me not forget one of his most important titles indeed. It is that he is the chairman for the Liberty Market Traders Association. We shall talk to both the gentlemen in the show, but since we have the Indonesian ambassador on the show today, I'd like to talk about this ultimate tourist destination in detail. Thank you and welcome to coming to our show, Excellency. Thank you so much for giving us your precious time. I understand you're stationed in Islamabad, but you came to Lahore and you took out the special 1 hour for us, but I'd like to extract maximum information from you about your beautiful, beautiful country, Indonesia. When we think of Indonesia, we think about all these lovely islands. It has over 17,000 islands. Java is one island which is the most populous island in the world. You were born in Jakarta, however. So tell me a lot more about these islands. Tell me about Bali, and also let me not forget this question, that what makes Indonesia a success story, a tourism success story?
Well, first of all, thank you so very much for having me, inviting me to these shows, and I'm fond of the Discover Pakistan TV channels, because I think this is very unique TV channels which dedicated to cover a lot of potentials of Pakistani tourist destination.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you mentioned about Java. Java is the biggest, one of the biggest islands in Indonesia, but most populous.
In the world?
Yeah, probably in the world, because most
well,
of the
it's a fact stated.
Yeah, most of the Indonesian population, they live and reside in Java.
Right.
You know, and you know, if we look at the statistics, not only the populations but also the economy of Indonesia are concentrated in Java. Now, because of that, then the government decided in 2019 to relocate the capitals, you know, the administrative capitals, to other islands, the Kalimantan, and the new capitals, what we call Nusantara or Archipelago, has been announced a few days back in Indonesia, in Jakarta. So with that, and hopefully, you know, there will be more opportunities to develop other parts of Indonesia, not only Java.
Furthermore,
yeah,
you're going to develop more islands.
Yeah.
You are blessed. You have assets, I would say, in the form of islands of over 17,000 in number.
But it comes also with a challenge, because, you know, with those archipelago, the natives, you know, poses a challenge in connecting different islands to become one part of Indonesia. And I think that's also one of the area of the priorities of the governments of Indonesia, to build more infrastructure, port infrastructures, because in the end, if we want, you know, with these special geographic locations in Indonesia, then, you know, building or modernizing the port infrastructures become a mandatory for us to succeed, to support the economy of Indonesia, and also to support the tourist industries, because I think when we're talking about the tourist industries, we need to focus on two things: the soft infrastructures and the hard infrastructures.
Right.
The hard infrastructures touch upon, you know, building the new infrastructures, amenities, you know, all relating to support the tourist industries. But also, don't forget also to improve the soft infrastructures, building, you know, positive image, you know, through various, like, you know, what Discover the TV channel of Pakistan in promoting a lot of potentials of Pakistan.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the soft infrastructures also that need to be focusing in trying to develop more tourist industries. And Indonesia also, we work together, you know, the central governments works together with the governments to establish what we call it the event, because tourist industry is actually storytelling. Storytelling. This is about, about telling a stories about one particular interesting, or that worth visiting, a place that worth visiting.
Right, Excellency, I'd like to know about your tourism success story. There must be some key elements to success. I'd like to discuss that, and we will also talk to Mian Saab about his trade success. But before that, I'd like you to see this short report that our team has prepared on gorgeous Indonesia. What a delight watching these beautiful images. Excellency, how much of this have you been missing lately?
Well, thanks to the YouTube, thanks to the internet nowadays, we can easily relate to the situations in Indonesia using those internet. But I think seeing is believing. You need to come, come in person.
I completely agree. Seeing is believing. Anybody who's had passion for travel has definitely been to Indonesia. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, a lot in the world hasn't been the way it was. Indonesia's tourism currently is at a stop. So when do we expect it to restart?
We initially have launched a soft opening, like targeting specific countries who have direct connections, direct flight to Indonesia or to Bali. So we list around 19 countries who have a direct connections to Indonesia. So we already reopened it, but I think the response is quite challenging also because of the pandemic, and we understand that people, if they travel, especially for the visiting for tourist objectives, certainly they don't want to spend much time in the quarantine, so that's present a challenge for us. So
yes.
I think we keep reviewing these policies and trying
Imagine being in quarantine and looking out those gorgeous, gorgeous views.
Yeah, that's one thing that we keep reviewing these policies and allowing establishing like a travel bubble arrangements with some countries, especially for the business community. They may continue to travel to Indonesia for the business purpose.
So the story of Indonesia, in terms of its success tourism story, I would like to ask His Excellency about it. But before that, Mian Saab, what's your trade success? You're a successful businessman. I believe you started your own empire. It wasn't an empire then. How did you start? How did you make it a success?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I am thankful to Discover Pakistan for inviting me here to express my few views about the Pakistan. And I am again grateful to you that you have invited me when there is a great renowned personality of Indonesia. His Excellency is here, and that's really an honor for me to be here.
Have you been to Indonesia?
Not yet, but since
I think there'll be a lot of people flocking towards Indonesia, including me yourself.
So, since His Excellency is here, he visited Lahore Chamber of Commerce,
Right.
and he invited the business community at Lahore Chamber of Commerce to visit Indonesia. Indonesia is a brother country for Pakistan. The largest Muslim population is in Indonesia.
Absolutely.
I remember one instance that when there was a war between Pakistan and India, there is a cloth in Pakistan that is called Malaysia. Since Indonesia helped Pakistan a lot, Pakistani government at that time changed the name of that cloth from Malaysia to Indonesia.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that is a great story. Anyhow, Pakistan.
Your success story, Mian.
Pakistan, Alhamdulillah, I did my MBA from Punjab University, and that's a great honor for me. That was the first batch from Punjab.
How amazing is that?
Or of MBAs. Alhamdulillah. After that, I went to Saudi Arabia and I worked there with the company Sabiq that was established on 1st January 1977 with a paid-up capital of 10,000 million real and with 9 people. When I left that company after 11 years, the company's total personnel was 17,000.
Wow.
Right?
And it started with 9 people.
9 people, including myself. So why I am mentioning this thing is that when there is determination, there is a will, there is a wish, people can achieve the destination. That country was used to be called as a desert country, and no industry in there. Right now, that industry, that company, Sabiq, is one of the largest in the world. So if we can implement such kind of policies, such kind of system here in Pakistan, Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is full of plenty of resources, vast potential here. Everything is available in
one of the most
country.
one of the most key factors that can contribute to Pakistan's further success is that we have a large population. We have a very large young population. Then we also have a great deal of natural resources. Then we have skilled labor. We have so much labor emitting money who are working abroad and sending money back here. We could probably use them for our own benefit.
You are asking me about the success.
Yes.
Success is only there when the people used to do the business, used to do the thing with sincerity, honesty, consistently and continuously.
Absolutely.
These are the main things. If people start doing anything half-heartedly, he can never achieve the goal.
That's not how one succeeds.
Yeah.
Indonesia's tourism success story, what were the key elements involved to create this story?
Yeah, first, the government committed to build, infrastructure to support the tourism, the amenities also.
Right. How long ago was that?
I think we started like at 20 years ago.
That's not too long ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago, and nowadays the tourist industries contribute close to 5% of our GDP. So
Right.
I think that's a good developments. We are projected, increasing. We understand due to the COVID, then there will be certainly impact in terms of the revenues come from the tourist industries. But inshallah, when nowadays with we're preparing also new protocols, in post-COVID situations. Hopefully, we would rebound. The economy would rebound. And also the tourist sectors, industries also will rebound.
So you mentioned you first focused on building the infrastructure.
Yep.
Second was what? To create the hospitality industry?
Yeah. If we are talking about tourist industries, that there are many industries that actually links with the tourist industries, and the governments also put a lot of energies in trying to give incentive for the small-scale industries who are, working in supporting of the tourist industry. So now we are also focusing, because Indonesia is very vast archipelago, we are selecting, 10 to now we are focusing on 5, developing, prioritizing the 5 super destinations whereby the governments improve a lot of infrastructures and also using the soft infrastructures, using the news, inviting bloggers also to come. We also arranging what we call it fam trip by inviting a lot of journalists from outside the world to come and see for themselves the tourist potentials in Indonesia, because we believe that with word of mouth, then people will realize the potentials of Indonesia. So the strategy, including also workings with the governments, the local governments, and the private sectors also, because I think if we want to make success, then we need to have a comprehensive strategy involving all the stakeholders.
Right. Right. So, Excellency, you've had the opportunity, for example, when I was looking into different news stories related to you, I've seen you meet a great deal of businessmen, a great deal of great businessmen in Pakistan. Well, since you've been stationed here, you've also visited the chamber. You've had that opportunity. You've held some very important diplomatic positions in different countries. So, while you were in Pakistan meeting all these entrepreneurs, all these success stories, I'd say, what did you feel? What vibe did you get out of them?
Well, first I learned that a lot of enthusiasm for both sides, actually, not only for the Indonesians business people who wants to invest and to do more trade with Pakistan. I sense also there's a lot of interest from Pakistani business communities to trade with Indonesia. One thing that I keep mentioning during my interactions, that we both sides have to look at beyond, for Indonesia's side, to look at Pakistan's beyond Pakistan's, because if you combine Pakistan's with the geopolitical and strategic location, you will see huge market in Central Asia, because with a lot of infrastructures, the Gwadar infrastructure, the CPEC infrastructure, certainly
yes.
Pakistan is in the right positions to connect with the Central Asia and also with the western part of China. So this is something, the message that I keep mentioning, and there's a lot of interest from Indonesian side to invest in
really?
the CPEC.
In which areas specifically, which industries?
First, on the food industries, one of the biggest noodle producers, the biggest in the world actually, already in one of the special economic zones. They will open more and more manufacturing industries in Pakistan. There's very keen interest for them, and also in the refinery product of palm oil, there was also some interest. The joint venture already been established, and they want to expand further, taking once again the geographical locations of the CPEC, the Pakistan, and also the infrastructure of the CPEC, which will easily connect Pakistan to the Central Asia and the western part of the China. Likewise, I keep advising also to Pakistani business people, look Indonesia's beyond Indonesia, because ASEAN, which Indonesia is part of it, is consisting more than 600 million people.
That's right.
And together with Pakistan, it's close to 900
yes.
million. This is a huge potential. And in terms of the trade between Pakistan and ASEAN, it's only 7 billion annually. It's very few, only 1% of those trade as compared to China and ASEAN. So there's a lot of potentials, but we need to expand more by focusing on the area whereby the two countries have the complementarity, the industries that have a complementarity. It's like, for instance, the textile industry. Pakistan is very well known as the garment producer, but some materials may come from Indonesia, like cotton, polyester, yarn. So why not we work together in
Mian Zahid, would you like to comment on that, please?
We can get the benefits of the development and success story.
What did the businessmen say when they met His Excellency at the chamber?
They are very much impressed by the success of by the development of the
Are they
Indonesia.
excited about going to Indonesia? Are they planning to?
Yeah, of course. Once we planned a delegation to visit the Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia, but since the pandemic is there,
Naturally,
and that
once it
has
opens up.
restricted the traveling to other countries, that's why we discontinued. We couldn't go. We couldn't even have any delegation outside Pakistan since these two years, due to pandemic.
Right.
That's the main reason. Otherwise, we would love to be there, and we would love to see all the development of Indonesia as well. But well, let me tell you one thing here. Pakistan is a great gift of nature on the earth.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah, you name the thing which is being required for the development and prosperity of the country. That is, Alhamdulillah, available in abundance in Pakistan. Besides that, we have 5 weathers. Everything is available here. Pakistan is a beautiful country. You must have seen the whole the northern sides of Pakistan. A few days before, I went to Bahawalpur, and there I have visited one desert that is consisted of 165,000 acres.
Don't forget the beautiful infrastructure, the old
That's the only reason.
the heritage that we have there, the palaces.
Yeah, that's the only reason. We will have to provide the good infrastructure which attracts the people from Pakistan as well as from outside. And moreover, the awareness should be created. There we have seen one place that is called Lal Suhanra. There are almost 700 or 800 black bucks there. When we saw all those black deers, black bucks, those were when the trainer of those bucks, they used to put feed to those
Right. Yes, sir, but
deers.
there's
That
a
was
lot that we can learn from Indonesia, and I feel there could be mutual cooperation between the two nations in the tourism industry. We are trying to get there. We are succeeding. We're taking baby steps because we have just started promoting Pakistan in that light. Pakistan, as I always say, has been a hidden jewel in the crown. Now it's shining. But we must learn from our peers, from our regional partners. I would like to highlight that, given Indonesia has the world's most populous Muslim population, and we are a Muslim nation as well. So there's so much that where we could cooperate and learn from each other, and in fact learn more from Indonesia. So is there anything on the cards on that front?
Yes, I think what we've been doing in the past few years in the embassy, for instance, we have a programs, what we call it the fam trip, family relations trips, whereby we invite journalists from Pakistan to visit Indonesia. So we design programs to allow them to see, once again, because seeing is believing. So we invite them to come to specific destinations, tourist destinations. And nowadays we also invite bloggers, because bloggers are influential.
Absolutely.
They play very
a lot
important.
of difference in today's world.
Yeah, and then I think these strategies also can be,
Right, but
used.
at any point in time, would there could be an arrangement where Indonesia's already established hospitality and service industry could cooperate with Pakistan and teach Pakistan how to further improve its services, its hospitality, etc., etc.
Yes, I think that's what I mentioned about the fam trip, blogger, because to some extent, this is, sharing best practices. There is no one for all fit solutions, but I think with that, then we would be able to show to Pakistani audience and Pakistani policymaker on in promoting tourist industries. So once you have a dedicated TV channel which is Discover Pakistan, is very good in promoting that, but it needs to be complemented by many others.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Like once again, if inviting some journalists from different countries to visit Pakistan and to identify some of the the hidden jewels of tourist industry in Pakistan, so it would create a news splash when the news come to portrayed in different countries. So
Right.
with this, in a step-by-step approach, then we would be able once again to raise awareness about the lot of potentials that Pakistani have. Pakistan is a blessed country with so many beautiful places.
Right.
Like Mian mentions that five
weathers.
five different weathers with different types of
And different landscapes from south to north.
and it's
Right.
also very greeny.
Absolutely. Excellency, where all have you had the opportunity to, which areas did you visit in Pakistan?
Well, the fastest is Lahore areas, the Kartarpur
Kartarpur.
Kartarpur, the
Yes.
Holy Shrines of Sikhs. I visited 2 months ago the Kartarpur, whereby I witnessed this. I see with myself the interfaith harmony in the not only in the process but in realities, whereby the Muslim community and the Catholic community, they works together in the kitchen, in the streets, in the holy shrine for the Sikhs area,
Right.
providing food for for the visitors who come to visit. So
Right.
that's the real stories of the interfaith harmony in
So
with
you
I
went
see
to
in
Kartarpur, you're stationed
Pakistan.
in Islamabad, you are in Lahore as we speak and conduct this interview. Where all have you been otherwise?
Well, certainly the nearest area, even from Islamabad, there are some nice
Very
place.
scenic. It's
Yeah.
very, very scenic.
Very
Yes.
scenic, and you don't need to go to travel more than 3 hours to taste the snows in
Right,
Pakistan,
right.
for instance. Just
Right.
1 hour driving, then you will see from Islamabad.
Right.
So that's
What was your first impression of Pakistan upon arrival?
I was surprised, to be honest with you, I was surprised to see how green Pakistan is. You have in Islamabad, you have Fatima Jinnah Park, which in terms of size is as big as Central Park in New York or the Hyde Park of
That's
London.
correct.
So I was impressed later on to see that the government's also committed to make more green areas by 10 billion tsunami, which I believe it is a small step nowadays, but you will see the result in the next 5-10 years from now.
Right. So Mian sir, what Pakistani cuisine would you recommend to His Excellency to try?
Since His Excellency is here, and I am sure he must be satisfied with the hospitality and food of Pakistanis, and he can
Well, that's
tell,
for him to answer.
he can, he can let us know what kind of things we can provide.
What all
to
have you
them.
tried?
You'll be surprised to see that in Indonesia we find also thousands of Pakistani cuisines.
Really?
Yeah, I know. For
That's
instance,
shocking, Mian sir.
yeah. Let me give you an example. I know in Pakistan, iftar is not complete without pakora. In Indonesia, we have also Indonesian pakora. We call it bakwan.
Traditionally.
Yeah, traditional. Even pasandai, we have rendang. Nasi biryani, we have a yellow rice, and
It's quite
But
similar.
one thing which I have recommended you in the morning that was not known to you. You will have
Okay,
to
what
take,
was that? I would like to
You will have
know.
to take kachi lassi after mangoes. Otherwise, they increase your cholesterol and sugar level. And I have told him how to prepare that kachi lassi, half of the milk in a glass and then half of the water in a glass. And that
Are
will
you going to
help.
try that?
yeah, why not? Because I'm fond
I
of
hope it
Pakistani
it
mango.
doesn't affect his stomach in a bad way.
No, that's very good for if you have not taken that one, you must take after the mangoes.
I'm
that
a little
will subsidize
confused.
the
I'm confused because I
Yeah.
don't eat mangoes anyway, so it's okay.
Right now, it's not a season of mangoes. When
Right.
there will be a season of mangoes, people used and love to eat mangoes. The Pakistani mangoes taste is not available in all over the world.
It's very delicious.
Nowhere in the world
Nowhere
you get
in the world.
mangoes like Pakistan.
Once I was buying mangoes in America and I said, how is the taste? He said to me, if you would like to know the taste, you must take Pakistani mangoes. The Americans said to me that time, really. Uh, as I was mentioning, Alhamdulillah, we have everything, but there is a unluckily lack of proper planning. There is a planning, no doubt, but proper planning, how
Or
to
rather
utilize at the
execution, Mia Saab.
maximum level.
Rather execution as well. But we are getting there. One should never lose hope because there's so much that Pakistan is doing right now, making an effort. You know what excites me right now in Pakistan? The way private investment is constantly coming into the hospitality industry. How people are getting excited, they're opening small hotels, large hotels, they are connecting with the different hospitality applications, with different international service providers. We're seeing so many tourists flocking to Pakistan, so that's a very, very positive sign. That means things are changing. We're going in towards a new direction, a brighter future. So this is the reason why so many of my questions were directed towards to His Excellency, to His Excellency related to tourism, because like I said, there's so much to learn from Indonesia. So Mia Saab, how much have you traveled?
I have traveled mostly towards Canada and America. I used to travel before pandemic every year for 2-3 months since my children are living there. One is Canada, one is in Canada, and two are in USA. And me and my wife, my wife, we are alone here. Since that's the main reason. But since there is a pandemic, we couldn't go there for last
quite
3
a bit.
years.
So Mia Saab, I'm sure you meet a lot of foreigners who visit Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
And what's their impression of Pakistan?
Really, they are very much impressed. They are inspired by looking Pakistani places when they go to northern areas. Let me quote you here one example, one incident that not incident. I mean, what do you say the case? One thing, I used to visit Sawat side first time during 1970. And
Wow.
we were traveling in a cabin, and there were Japanese traveling with me. People love to visit those areas, and really those things are very beautiful. Only infrastructure is not up to date. And
But they're getting there. They are getting
they are going. They are doing it better and better. The present regime, they are looking for development of tourism as well. So I am sure we can earn a lot of revenue through.
Absolutely. So, which areas do you think Pakistan needs to work most upon, Excellency, to improve tourism?
Well, first, the infrastructure certainly,
Definitely.
Infrastructures and
Now we're getting these highways and motorways.
yeah, that's really helpful.
Journeys have become easier.
And I think nowadays, because of the COVID, then focusing on domestic tourists. So I think that will be an approach that
Yes, we're a very large population.
yeah, like Indonesia also nowadays.
Absolutely.
When we close the doors, then we encourage
Yes.
people to travel more.
Right.
Because with that, then it will once again raise the awareness of the people how potential your country have in terms of tourism. So you don't need to go outside the countries to enjoy the beautiful natures here, even in Pakistan, for instance.
And Excellency, do you know during the pandemic, as soon as it started, of course, initially there was a lockdown, but as soon as things started to ease up, we saw such a great rise in domestic tourism that it was shocking.
Yeah.
Nobody ever knew that somebody from Karachi would take the motorway and come to this part of Pakistan and further up.
Well, the same in Indonesia also.
Really,
Nowadays,
there's a lot more domestic tourism now?
Yeah, because I think the governments also realized that nowadays, when the revenue from tourist industries and also how many industries that also relate with the tourist sector, so they contribute a lot to the government.
So how much of Indonesia's tourism contributes to its overall GDP?
Nowadays, like 4.5.
But it must have been more previously.
Yeah, previously
Roughly
like
how
seven to 8.
So it's cut by almost half,
Yeah,
which is tragic.
Precisely, that's why we're now trying our best by encouraging domestic tourists, to help the governments also to revive the industries who relies on,
Right.
the domestic tourist industry.
Right. So before we end the show here, I'd like to ask His Excellency if he's learnt any Urdu during his time in Pakistan. Have you?
Well, this is something that, you know, I'm trying my best to learn Urdu.
Any word, if you could just narrate.
Any word?
He said use the word
Salam, because some of the...
Salam.
Yes. You know,
Haven't you
some
heard
of the,
theek hai?
Tike.
Theek hai.
Yeah, tike, yes.
His Excellency pakoda. You said pakoda.
Pakoda.
Pakoda, yes.
He used.
I think you're going to be best friends from here onwards. Well, thank you, Mia Saab.
Thank
You've
you
been
very
very
much.
kind sharing your experiences with us. And Excellency,
Thank you
a
so very
pleasure
much
having
for
you on the
inviting
show. And wish you all the best during your time here in Pakistan. And I hope that you get to see more of our beautiful country and taste some of our
We'll explore it.
other cuisine, other meals as well.
Thank you so very
Because the
much.
palate, the food palate is quite similar
Sure.
between Indonesia and Pakistan if you talk about the spices and everything.
Correct.
Well, thank you so much and
So
all the best.
We are also grateful to discover Pakistan since you people are portraying soft image of Pakistan in all over the world.
Well, that's our duty and that's our job as a Pakistani to promote the best of what we have. And indeed, we do have some of the best things in the world which we probably haven't appreciated so far. But we are realizing and we are appreciating now. So it's our duty to bring this message across, and it's my duty to bring this message forward to you all. Thank you again. I shall see you next week, same time. Keep watching Discover Pakistan.